the agencies earlier and told them to provide staff members to serve as desk officers in the committee for the timely processing of information. The organized labor has rejected the chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila, as head of the federal government team that will negotiate with the labor unions on subsidy removal palliatives. National President of Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajari, made this known when the leadership of the labor union visited the Senate. According to him, the chief of staff has been too busy to call for a meeting during that, adding that President Bola Tinubu's wage award committee has yet to sit almost 2 months after the full subsidy removal. The NLC president, while speaking during the meeting with Senate leadership, lamented the plight of Nigerians as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy, adding that the government was yet to put structures on ground to ameliorate the effect on the country. He told the lawmakers that while labor leaders were still deliberating on 537 naira per litre on fuel and court had ruled for the status quo to remain, the government suddenly decided to increase the fuel to 620 naira per litre. Similarly, the Trade Union Congress President TUC, Festus Usifo, lamented the snail speed with which the federal government was treating the issue of palliative and that there is no sense of urgency. The TUC president, however, noted that the Senate leadership had assured them of meeting with the president and getting problem solved in a few days. Now, doctors under the aegis of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, have suspended their planned nationwide daily protest after a closed-door meeting with principal officers of the Senate. The president of NARD, Emeka Oji, who confirmed the development, said the planned protest slated for today has been suspended, adding that there will be an update in the next 72 hours. Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has applauded the doctors for calling off the protest and also working towards calling off the strike, noting that the doctors' demands are well noted and will be addressed as soon as a new minister is appointed for the health sector. Senator Akpabio noted that strike by medical practitioners should not be allowed even for a day due to the impact it creates in the polity. The Inspector General of Sierra Leone, William Faye Selu, says 14 Sierra Leonean soldiers, 3 current and former police officers and 2 civilians have been arrested and are under investigation for subversion, while a manhunt is underway for 8 others. Selu said that they had arrested several people who were planning violent attacks on the anniversary of fatal riots in August 2022 that left more than 30 dead. The Inspector General added that Sierra Leone had appealed to Interpol to help extradite any of the suspects found abroad. Sierra Leone's Information Minister, Cheno Ba, confirmed that arrest was in connection with plans the state security had unearthed by some individuals to undermine the peace of the state and unleash violence on our citizens. Meanwhile, Liberia's Information Minister, Lejahud Reni, has said a former Chief Superintendent of Police dismissed in 2020 had been arrested in that country at the request of Sierra Leonean authorities. Still on foreign issues, European Commission spokesman Peter Stanton, during the press conference in Brussels, has declared that there is still room for mediation efforts in Niger. Peter Stanton stated that even though efforts by ECOWAS and the United States to parley with Niger's new rulers made no headway ahead of a regional summit to mull options that include military intervention. In addition to the economic blockade imposed by ECOWAS, several countries and international organizations have expressed misgivings about their financial aid. Finance, followed by Germany, was one of the first countries to announce the suspension of its official development assistance. However, ECOWAS had given the Mauritius soldiers until Sunday to release and install Mr. Bazoum, otherwise threatened to use force. 11 people are missing after a fire outbreak at a holiday home hosting people with learning disabilities in eastern France. Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin, while confirming a rescue operation is ongoing, said it was likely there are several casualties from the fire in the town close to the German border. He said nearly 80 firefighters were sent to the blaze in Winsahim after emergency services were alerted, adding that it started in the property used by a charity helping young people with disabilities. According to Darmanin, at least one person has been taken to hospital after 17 were evacuated. However, the local government in a statement said the fire was under control. 11 missing people are part of a group of people from Nancy, also in eastern France. Now, Canada has unveiled a new immigration pathway for carpenters, plumbers, and welders from other countries, including Nigeria. Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada (IRCC) Mark Miller said Canada's Express Entry is an online system used by the Canadian government to provide permanent residency to skilled workers. In a statement by the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada (IRCC), the country announced a streamlined immigration pathway for skilled workers with specific expertise in carpentry, plumbing, and welding. According to Mark Miller, it is absolutely critical to address the shortage of skilled trades workers in Canada, and part of the solution is helping the construction sector find and maintain the workers it needs. Reiterating, there are many different ways for professionals and workers to qualify for a Canada immigration permanent residency visa. He said the most prominent option is through Express Entry, which is Canada's main pathway for economic class skilled workers, and that the best bet to be eligible under the entry is to meet the requirements of either the Federal Skilled Worker Program or Canadian Experience Class. And in sports, Anthony Joshua, opponent of choice to replace the drugs-tested Dillian Wyatt, is a Finnish veteran in his 40th year who was knocked out in the first round by Deontay Wilder. Robert Helenius has been beaten by Wyatt and was knocked out in his fight before last by Deontay Wilder, but unsurprisingly, fisticuffs at the O2 have been downgraded from pay-per-view to run-of-the-mill TV. It is not Joshua's fault that Wyatt fell afoul of a random dope test and is left pleading his innocence for a third time as he tries to salvage the fag end of his career. Reports say Joshua, who banked scores of millions per outing when world heavyweight champion, is sure to have taken a substantial pay cut to get his comeback underway. Joshua loyalists will still turn up and tune in to see their man in action for the first time after months of absence in Texas, where new trainer Derek James had been rebuilding his confidence after 2 world title defeats by Alexa Usyk. Now, do you love and care about River State and her peace? If yes, let's build and take her to greater heights. It is a task we must all accomplish. And that's the size of our news on this lovely day at the News on TV. My name is Emily Tari Mberu. Thank you so much for being my company from start to finish. Do have an amazing day ahead. Good afternoon.